Joining me tonight on this global exclusive is the one and only Nobel Peace Prize winner for 2025, María Corina Machado. It's an honor to have you with me on the News Hour tonight, Ms. Machado. Many, many congratulations to you from every single Indian and every viewer of the Times Network.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of the Venezuelan people, we are very grateful, we are humbled, and we know we can count on the Indian people for a peaceful transition to democracy and freedom in Venezuela. Thank you.
Amazing. We all saw the excerpt of how this news was broken to you, the surprise that was written all over your face, your voice. You were stunned into silence. Has it sunk in now? It's been over a week.
Well, to be honest, I'm still trying to understand what this means. Of course, it was an absolute surprise. As you are aware, we have been fighting for 26 years against a terrible tyranny that has committed crimes against humanity, that practices state terrorism, that has destroyed Venezuela, that used to be one of the wealthiest nations in the Western Hemisphere, and that has now poverty of over 86% of our population and has forced a third of our people to flee for survival. So, we have been fighting for so long, organizing, putting a country back together. And the fact that the international community and the Nobel Committee recognize this struggle it's absolutely huge. And it's going to be a very significant boost for this final stage that we are right now, moving into a peaceful and orderly transition. So I am still trying to process what this means for our country, for our people, and certainly for my life, for the rest of my life, and the responsibility that this involves.
Absolutely. You've been in hiding and have been in hiding for a long time. Your life is in danger. The government in Venezuela is not backing down. The opposition won the elections, but you're not in power. You have to hide. How do you deal with this? Is it something that puts pressure on you, given the fact that this fight is nowhere near closure yet?
Well, I do think it's close. I think it's very close, finally. As you said, on July 28, 1924, we won a presidential election by a landslide. I had been previously elected as the primary winner to be the opposition candidate. I won with 93% of the votes, but the regime banned me from running as a candidate. So a very courageous and honest man, a life career diplomat, accepted this huge responsibility and honor. And we won. And not only we won with 70% of the votes, but we were able to prove it. We gathered all 85% of the original tally sheets. We digitized them. We put them in a very robust web page for the whole world to see the actual images that prove our victory. People thought it was impossible to defeat the Maduro regime, who has put in place scam elections for 20 years. But we were able to do it, organizing citizens with this huge citizen movement that wants to live with dignity, that wants our country to be free, but most of all, we want our children coming back home. Venezuelans are all around the country forced to flee, and we want to have reunited our families in a nation that is proud, peaceful, and prosperous. So once we won, we offered Maduro the possibility of a negotiated transition in which we offer guarantees, but he refused. And in the contrary, he unleashed the worst repression wave we've seen in our history. Thousands of innocent Venezuelans were disappeared. Their houses were marked with crosses in their doors. Children, women that were abused, tortured, even killed. And I was accused of terrorism, so I had to go into hiding, as did most of the political leaders and human rights activists in my country, journalists, and so on. So I've been almost 15 months in absolute isolation. I am on my own, but I'm working very hard, and certainly through this via that we're using right now, I'm in contact with thousands and thousands and thousands of Venezuelans in my country and around the world, and we're determined to have the sovereign will of our population respected, and that's going to happen very soon.
You're saying it is going to happen very soon, yet you're in hiding. Do you fear for your safety, Ms. Machado? What keeps you going?
Oh, I have absolute trust in the Venezuelan people. You know, I've heard so many times people tell me it's impossible to achieve what we had in mind. And we set, yes, it's very challenging goals, but we have been achieving them one after the other. They thought it was impossible to bring a country back together, to have it organized, to bring back the will to fight, to do it peacefully, and also to have the support of the international community. Look where we are right now. Maduro is weaker than ever. The only thing he has left is repression, violence. And yes, he has a few, very few individuals that still support him in the top brass of the military and his financial enablers and front men that have been robbing and stolen all Venezuelan resources on their behalf and have a country starving while they have huge, obscene amounts of money all over the world. But now the world has to understand what we have said during many years. This is not a conventional dictatorship. It is a criminal, narco-terrorist structure, and Maduro is the head of that structure. And finally, we're seeing the international community addressing Maduro as it should, applying all the force of international justice, its law enforcement. And once you cut these flows from narco-trafficking, gold smuggling, arms smuggling, even human trafficking, once you cut those flows, incoming into the regime, then these structures start to crack down. And that's what we're seeing right now. By the hour, we're seeing more and more defections, treasons, and fights and confrontation among the different groups that build this criminal structure head by Maduro.
Ms. Machado, I want to ask you, we've seen in this part of the world, in Asia, Aung San Suu Kyi earlier, trying to bring about, a fight within her own country. How convinced are you that you will be able to do this peacefully, given that the opposition that you're up against hasn't given up for so long, so much so that you have been forced to go into hiding? Peacefully, of course, India is the land of non-violence, and we've attained our freedom through non-violence, and Mahatma Gandhi was known for it. But are you sure peaceful ways will succeed?
Peaceful is not weakness, and Mahatma Gandhi showed us, the whole humanity, what that meant. Certainly, to have peace, you need freedom. And in order to have freedom, you need strength. And that's moral strength, that is spiritual strength, and certainly physical strength in organization. Venezuela, I would dare to say that it's perhaps one of the most cohesive societies in the world. We do not have religious differences, racial tensions, regional or political or even social differences. I mean, 90% of our population want the same. We want to live with dignity. We want to live with justice, with solidarity, certainly with freedom, and we want our children back home. This is so powerful. And that's a reality as well in the military and in the police. And certainly Maduro has stayed in power by force because he felt that he was, for forever, there would be this absolute impunity for their acts. Acts that have been denounced by the fact-finding missions of the United Nations as crimes against humanity, and terrorism of state as has been declared by the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights. I mean, the whole world knows the kind of criminals these individuals are. But now, with a firm action on behalf of the United States and the Trump administration and this coalition that has been building with countries in Latin America, in the Caribbean, in Europe, I hope in Asia as well, Maduro has started to understand that his time is over and that his best option is to accept the terms of a negotiated transition with guarantees that we have offered.
Fantastic. But we are also speaking at a time when the United States under President Trump has been striking suspected cartel boats off the Venezuelan coast. More than 24 people have lost their lives. Do you endorse this? Because the Americans are not backing down anytime soon.
Well, you have to understand that it was Maduro who declared war towards the Venezuelan people. We didn't want a war. We don't want a war. We want to live in peace and freedom, and we want the sovereign will of our people expressed in the ballots to be respected. I mean, we have insisted. We don't want violence. We don't want firearms hitting our people. We want to be respected our will. But Maduro not only declared a war on the Venezuelan people, he declared a war also into democratic countries in the Western, including the United States, using narco-terrorism as a tool to undermine their democratic institutions. So who started this war is Maduro, and he's the one responsible for everything that's taking place as we speak in the Caribbean. So as Maduro started this war, we expect and we hope and we believe that many countries led by the United States will help us stop this war, a war towards the Venezuelan people and also to many other people in our region.
So let me ask you, the other big contender versus you for the Nobel Peace Prize was President Donald Trump himself, who believed that he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. You have dedicated your Peace Prize to President Trump. What was the thought behind it?
Oh, it's absolutely fairness. I have to tell you, this is a prize for the Venezuelan people, not only for myself. This is a prize that honors the courage, resilience, strength, and love that Venezuelan society has demonstrated fighting so long during all these years. And finally, we have an opportunity to see that dream come true. And our main ally at this moment is President Trump. So it is a matter of fairness. And I do think that all around the world we're seeing results of a strategy to achieve peace, but through strength. And I believe that's a lesson that we Venezuelans have learned with a very, very high cost, with great pain. Look, over 20,000 Venezuelans have been executed unlawfully by the Chavez and Maduro regime in the last 20 years. Over 18,000 people have been illegally detained from 2014 to today. So, and this, what we need is to stop this process and save lives. It is about saving lives. And it is a matter of great urgency, not only for Venezuela. I'd like you to see this even in a wider perspective for the whole region, because from Venezuela, the Maduro regime is using our country as a safe haven where Russian agents, Iranian agents, terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, the drug cartels are freely operating. And Maduro is the head of this operation. And from Venezuela, he's destabilizing the whole region. So having this transition will mean not only that we will bring, safety and well-being to millions of my fellow countrymen, it will mean that millions that have been forced to flee will come back. But it also means that we will have a strong ally in our country for security, for democracy, and to stabilize the whole Western Hemisphere.
Let me then ask you, in the Indian context, India is also facing terrorism that comes from Pakistan, and we've had to deal with it. We've lost several lives due to this terrorism. But the United States likes to back Pakistan, knowing fully well that Pakistan is a safe haven for terror as well. How do you see this dichotomy?
Well, I understand that geopolitically there are many issues that sometimes seem contradictory, and I fully respect the efforts of the Indian people who want to live with safety and peace. And I know there are people in Pakistan that want the same. And the fact that President Trump was able to help, stop this conflict from escalating, I think it was a great step. From our perspective and from Venezuela, I want to think that we can have in India a great ally, not only for these days in which we need your voices as a great democracy in Asia, to speak out for the rights of the Venezuelan people, also to choose, and that the popular sovereignty is respected. But I also want to imagine, once Venezuela moves ahead into transition, and we dismantle all the criminal socialist structures that have brought so much pain and devastation, the great opportunities for India companies to invest. I mean, not only in energy, but also in infrastructure, telecom. I mean, I do not see other country in the region that has the absolute incredible natural endowments Venezuela has. Not only, as I insist, not only in oil and gas and gold and minerals, but our geographic position is strategic, and I'm sure that there are many areas in which we can complement, and it's going to be in the behalf of the Indian people and certainly in ours as well.
Well, the Indian position is that there was no intervention by the U.S. We had achieved the targets that we needed to bust in Pakistan, and then we called for a ceasefire. But how do you look at the Indian democracy? We are a noisy democracy. We are the largest democracy of the world. We have elections in various states and national elections. How do you see the health of the Indian democracy from a distance from where you are in Venezuela?
Well, I was born in a democratic Venezuela. And I thought, like many in my generation, that democracy was something that we had inherited and would always accompany us, that it wasn't imaginable Venezuela without democracy. And 26 years ago, when people warned us that Venezuela could turn into Cuba, we said, no, we're no Cuba. That's never going to happen to us. And look where we are right now. And the lesson we have learned is that freedom and democracy has to be defended every day. Certainly, there are failures in democracy that ought to be always improved. But the most important thing is a country like yours that is so big, with such an incredible culture and a democratic tradition, to foster it, to care for it, and also to be sure that, new generations are brought up with a sense of responsibility, that you really need to care for it. And the way to do that is to be active, to participate, to speak out, never be silenced. And that's, that's a tough lesson that we learn in Venezuela. And now we're more humble, but also I think we're very well prepared to set the pillars of this new country that is, and its rebirth that it's taking place as we speak.
Do you follow Indian politics? Do you follow Prime Minister Narendra Modi while you've been, in hiding? Have you looked at this part of the world, and what do you think about it?
Oh, of course I do. And as I say, I admire India with all my heart. My daughter was there just a couple of months ago. I've never been to India. She loves your country. I have many friends, Venezuelan friends that live there. And of course I follow it. And I hope I have the chance to speak with the Prime Minister and be sure that, we can host him in a free Venezuela very soon, and that we can strengthen ties for the well-being of our own countries, because I believe there are many areas of complementary that will be great opportunities for your people, for your private sector, and certainly for the Venezuelan population.
You almost talk as if this change in Venezuela is just around the corner. Are you putting a time frame to it? When do you think the tide is going to change?
As you can imagine, that's a question I am asked by 30 million Venezuelans every single day. And you know what? A great lesson that I have learned in these 15 months on my own is that you need to live one day at a time. That's not patience, but that gives you serenity and understand there are things that are under our control and we need to work hard on them. And there are other processes that are evolving and that require some time. Nonetheless, after 26 years fighting and building a moment, I believe that moment today is very, very close. I've never seen the Venezuelan society, as I said, not only as cohesion, united, and hopeful, but as organized as we are today. I've never seen the regime so desperate, acting with contradictions, more violent than ever, but at the same time that pulls them even more and more downfall. And I've never seen the international community as close and conscious of the importance of a Venezuelan transition to democracy. I wouldn't have thought ever of having an interview with you a few months ago, and this is such an honor to be able to convey our feelings to the Indian society. So we count on you, we need you, and I ask you to trust our people, We Venezuelans are good people, hardworking, family-loving, with a strong faith. And this is, at the end, for us, much more than a political struggle. This is a spiritual struggle for the good. And that's why we will prevail.
I'm sure you will, and more power to you. But as a woman, even as we are very proud that a woman has won the Nobel Peace Prize, I want to ask you, woman to woman, are there days when you feel low? How do your children deal with the fact that you're in danger? You have to be in hiding. You said your daughter was in India. How do you connect? Do you miss meeting your family? Do you miss doing normal things? I want to hear that part of your personal experience.
If you had asked me a few months ago if I was able to endure 1 week on my own without seeing or touching anyone, I would have said absolutely not. I'm not able to do that. And now, there are almost 2 years without seeing my children, my husband, my mother, my sisters. My life during all these years had been, moving around my country. We Venezuelans like to hug each other, to pray together, to sing together. And it was thousands and thousands and thousands of people I hugged and touched. And now I have been all on my own. I spent our Christmas evening, which is very important for us Catholics, all on my own. And my birthday, and the day where Venezuelans were celebrating the Nobel Peace Prize, I couldn't, see anyone on their eyes. And certainly I feel guilty because my children have had really important moments in their lives. My children graduated from college. My daughter got married, and I wasn't able to be with her because I've been banned from leaving Venezuela for over 12 years. So it gives me a sense of guilt, but at the same time, they are very supportive. And they know I'm doing this for them and for all the Venezuelan children. And I know that they will inherit a wonderful country, that they will feel proud to be Venezuelans. And that's a unique opportunity that life has given us. And I'm very proud of them because even though it's been very hard, they have lived with fear. And many times if they call me and I don't answer the phone, they, start getting super concerned. And I try to, always have mechanisms to answer to them so that they know that I'm safe. But at the same time, I have to say that from a family perspective, it's been very, very hard.
I can almost see the tears welling up. I can hear your voice choking there. And as a woman, I feel choked myself because for whatever you're doing, the price of not being able to touch your children. And you're very right. That touch and feel is just so important for a mother, for a human being, but for a mother more so. Are there difficult days? Are there days when you come close to saying that, no, I need them, I need to touch them? Are there days like that?
Well, every instant of my life, days and night, I feel that urge to touch them and hug them and see them. And when they get sick, be sure that I could be there, taking care of them. But during all these years, I have never doubted that I've done the correct thing. And I would do it, all over again. Absolutely. I have no doubt because as I say, I trust our people and I know that there's only one destiny for this long struggle and it is freedom. And it is a country that we will build up and feel very proud that I could have dedicated your life to service of your country. And I want to insist in this. It's millions of Venezuela that have won this award. They are the one to be acknowledged and recognized because they are not, their names are not known, but you have no idea how hard they've been working here in my country and all over the world. So I am grateful to God for being born in this country that I love, and at this unique moment in which we're changing history for good, for the better.
Absolutely. And for a woman who's all heart, yet with determination of steel, Indians here respect that, that emotion. Indians are very emotional people, and they understand that emotion that is coming from you. I just, before I let you go, I have to ask you this question. Do you have a message for Indians, the largest democracy, the oldest civilization, the cultural and the emotional quotient extremely high? Do you have a message for India? Do you have a dream of meeting with the Prime Minister? And when you will be able to do that, do you have any of those timings in your mind?
Well, I would love to visit India as soon as Venezuela is free. I've been always been amazing, impressed by your culture. There was a time where I had plans to go and we were ready to go, and something, an emergency happened in my family and I had to cancel it. That's something that have always hurt me. I wish I had done it with my father, who loved India, had traveled there many times. But I know that, my daughter will show me around, and perhaps you can do that as well. And
absolutely.
I do have a message.
We are happy to play host to you.
Oh, yes, I do. I love Indian food. Look, you have been an example for many countries, for many generations of, as you say, being the largest democracy in the region, in the world. I mean, this is huge. And then you also have a responsibility to take good care of it, because so many people, countries around the world look up to you. So, as I say, democracies can always, be strengthened and should never be taken for granted. And I know that I will receive you here. I will be your host here in Venezuela one day as well. We have great food also, and we will share a future of peace, of progress, prosperity, and freedom.
Well said, and yes, we do look forward to that future together. A billion namastes come your way from India. We send you positive vibes from India, and more power to women like you who set an example. And I almost forgot the most important question. What was your conversation with President Trump like? What did you talk about?
It was a very good conversation. Very productive. And, for now, I'm going to keep it between us. But I know that he was also moved, realizing how much for the Venezuelan people means what he's doing, and how much we appreciate having the support of democratic leaders at this time, decisive time for history.
Well said. Thank you very much for joining me, María Corina Machado. What a proud moment for you, for your family and your family of citizens of Venezuela. Make Venezuela great again. And India is looking forward to a wonderful partnership and friendship with the democratic values of Venezuela getting stronger. Thank you very much for joining me, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Take good care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, and namaste.